get adjusted to this. And I'm also going live on YouTube. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I don't know what I just did. Let me take that off. Alrighty. So who do I have here today? See, I have 4 people in here so far. Hey, Sue. Hello, Chelsea. Mano. Soulful Wellness with Jess. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, so that's new. Now I can actually see who's in the live. Okay. Hi, Jess from Chicago. What part of Chicago do you live in? I don't think I've seen you all before here. Thank you for joining. And I just want to give us a few minutes to just allow other people to join before we get started. But I'm grateful to be here with you all today, Soulmates. It's been a while since I've been on a live. I think it's been about 3 months, two or 3 months. And it feels like whenever I come on the Inside Timer, it's always a period where spirit is calling me to go live. I try to schedule lives, but at one point it just didn't seem like it was working because I myself was just going through a shift personally, and scheduling just wasn't working for my lives on Inside Timer. So I found myself canceling a lot of them. So I decided not to schedule anymore until I knew that Spirit was calling me to go live. And today happens to be one of those days. So I am grateful that you all joined and want to welcome you all into this space. So if you haven't already, go ahead and just take a deep breath and just let it drop into your bodies. And I'm grateful that you made it here today. I hope that you're grateful that you made it here today, because it's not by accident that you're here. You came here for a reason. And I always like to say that when I do these energy check-ins, when I'm always checking in with my soulmates, this is bigger than just astrology or energy. It's really about our souls. It's soul work. And it's the way our souls move through the storms of life, through the storms of everyday wear and tear of survival. How do we continue to keep rising, even when we're tired? Even when it feels like we're just cracked wide open, like we have nothing else to give. So right now, we're anchoring into the energy of May 2025, and today is May 14th. And I don't know about you all, soulmates, but the month has already felt like a lot has already unfolded for me internally, as well as even externally, but really internally. And it's been a quiet month, I will say, compared to January and February. The first quarter of the year was very loud. But May has been pretty quiet, but internally there's been a lot of spiritual activations, emotional shakeups, soul level breakthroughs. So if you've been feeling foggy, soulmates, maybe some of you have felt stuck, perhaps maybe felt silenced, or maybe you have finally cracked open and something inside of you is just ready to shift. It's ready for a transformation because you're not broken. You're being rebuilt, even in the struggle, even when it feels like things are just unraveling. You're actually being rebuilt. And the month of May has actually been a month that has been pulling us back a lot loudly for me. And it's not pulling us back to punish us, not in any way, but to show us what's been waiting underneath to finally let go of. So let's walk through this rising in the collective together, because we are all interconnected, whether we know it or not. And what would that mean for our lives if we just had the opportunity to move through this with clarity, with courage, with compassion? And that's what I want to hold space for today, to allow us the opportunity to be present, to be aware, to be in our hearts. Because right now, the world that we're building, it starts within. In the month of May, there are 7 themes that are showing up for us energetically. Because the month of May right now, it is really about, I would say, less doing, more visioning. Because we're not building from our egos right now. We've done a lot of inner healing work, a lot of ego deaths. So right now we're building with intention. So if it feels like your outer world has been shaky, maybe chaotic, or felt unstable, well, like I told you earlier in the year, anything that's not built on a solid foundation is going to crack. So if you felt like it's unstable, you're not imagining it. It's because it has been unstable. Now you get the opportunity to create a solid foundation. Because see, we are in a collective season now where external foundations are shifting. The phone keeps moving. And for some of us, this might feel nothing like it's sticking. Feels like things are constantly falling apart or just not aligning like they used to. But I want you to know, soulmates, you are not off track. But in fact, what's happening right now is an opportunity for us to turn that energy inward, because the season is giving us the opportunity to pause and ask ourselves, what kind of lives are we really building? What kind of world are you anchoring within yourself? Before you expect it to appear outside, obviously you have to find it within. Because sometimes the soul starts building in silence before anything shows up on an external form. And I know you want to know, well, what's behind this? But you are not behind the outer world if it doesn't match your vision yet. If you can't vision it, then how can you expect to see it outwardly? So things have to fall apart. Things have to crack. And sometimes it takes time to rebuild. But this time is asking us to go deeper, to reconnect with the vision underneath all the noise, all the distraction, all of the chaos. Because underneath is where the alignment begins. This is where the future that you're creating starts to take shape. It's within your own inner world first, when you feel it, when you embody in it, when you imagine it. And if you're feeling foggy about what's next, or maybe you're feeling frustrated because things aren't quite clicking, well, this is your permission, soulmates, to just pause. Just get quiet. Stop trying to force clarity from a place of chaos. It won't get clear. And instead, just take the opportunity to listen. Listen to what's already growing inside of you. Because the new world doesn't start outside. It starts with how you hold yourself in the waiting, in the unknown. It starts with how you choose to lead yourself before the results will ever show up. So give yourself space to dream again. Rewrite your blueprint, rewrite your story. Get honest about what you want to create next. And not from a place of fear, but a place of truth. Because once your inner world is aligned, then the outer world starts to follow. That's the first theme of May. Theme number 2 is dramatic external shifts. Talk about the shakeups for a moment. Can we please talk about the shakeups? Hey, Jacqueline. Hello, beautiful. It's good to see you. And hello, soulmates that just joined. Some of you have probably been feeling the shakeups for the last 6-7 months now. And it may have felt like it was gradually building up. Or maybe it felt like it was an upheaval going up and down. And maybe for some of you, it came out of nowhere. Maybe some doors were closed that you didn't see coming. Maybe there were some losses of people, of things, changes that didn't quite make sense. That still probably don't make sense yet. But here's the thing about the energy of May. this is just the ending of it because all these shifts already started. Because like I said, they've been brewing for a while. May is just a month that they finally start to rise to the surface. My guys, they're calling it a vibrational deselection because what's not aligned, it cannot stay, soulmates. And yes, it might sting. It's going to catch you off guard. It might even break you open. But it's also making space. Space for new direction. Space for realigned or aligned relationships. Space for a life that actually fits where you're going next. And you might not be able to see it yet, but the people, places, or patterns that have fallen apart or fallen away, it was time for them to go, soulmates. They were already past their expiration dates. See, May is preparing us because if you are like me, soulmates, and if you are a fixed sign, there were things that you needed to let go of that you were refusing to let go of. And we're in a season now where Spirit is not waiting. Spirit has given us the opportunity to take the lead, take the leap. Well, now we're at the point where Spirit is just taking everything away because we are going to get in alignment, whether we kick or scream, fuss or fight, or get into alignment and co-create with Spirit. Stop resisting. Hey, Jack. Good to see you, my friend. Hey, Sandy. Rose. Hello, beautiful. Hello, hello. So if you're feeling like right now you're in the midst of a punishment or turmoil, please know that this is just the beginning. This is your new beginning. You're being prepared for something better, something bigger. Because what's ahead of you requires a version of you that doesn't carry any old weight, soulmates. We are elevating at a higher vibration collectively. So the energy now is asking us to get in alignment. We have to let go of anything weighing us down. We can't cling to any expired roles. We can't tolerate anything or anybody that is draining our souls. So like I said, if you're feeling foggy, if you're stuck, or if you're just silent, you don't even know what to say or where to go, I just want you to know you are not broken. We are all being rebuilt. Inside out is the way Spirit is working and moving through us. Some of us probably have gone through a lot of random endings, maybe a lot of grief and hurt right now. So much love and light to you. And I know grief is real. Grief is so real. I know that hurt all too well. But I also know what the freedom feels like on the other side of it. So feel what you need to feel, soulmates. Grieve what you must grieve. Let the tears fall. But also let the clarity come. And don't forget that the future is being born in the same breath as you're releasing. And maybe you're sitting in that in-between space between right now and the space between who you were and where you're trying to go, who you're becoming. I see you, soulmates. I'm right there with you. There's nothing wrong with being in that in-between space. In fact, a lot of us probably are. It's like we're one leg in an old timeline and one leg into a new timeline. So we're being adjusted because we're being aligned to where we're truly meant to be. I'm good, Jack. It's good to see you. Oh, yes, Keana with the Q. I know Keana with the Q. Hello, YouTube friends. Hello, family. Thank you for joining. So how many of you feel like you're stuck right now in that in-between space of the old you and the new you, the you that you're becoming? Remember at the beginning of the year, I said, soulmates, this is the year of the Great Awakening. So this is not the beginning. This is just, believe it or not, you still have some more transforming to do. I've been preparing us for this for a while now. I think I started this actually, soulmates, pause. It'll be a year since I've been going live on Insight Timer, May 23rd. So I've been talking about this almost a full year now, about the year of the Great Awakening with Pluto and Aquarius. And that's where we are right now. So please know that this in between space that we're in, oh, we still got some more evolving to go, but we're just getting one step closer. It's given us the opportunity now to rebuild with intention, starting with our spirits first. So if you've been feeling the nudge lately, or something inside of you that is whispering deep down in your soul, I need support through this next version of me, then please know you're not alone. I offer space for people walking through these shifts together because there's strength and connection and people going through this work together. And before we move in any deeper, I just want to do an astrological check-in because you all know I am astrology bae and we love our astrology out here on Inside Timer. How are we doing now that Venus is out of retrograde? Pluto is not on retrograde, but if you recall at the beginning of the year, and even I think in March, Soulmates, I did a check-in to let you know what was getting ready to come up astrologically. So we've had the opportunity to get through those shifts. Here we are in May, almost in June. We're halfway through the year because back in April, March and April, Venus was in retrograde in Aries. And for many of us, that may have brought up a lot of old relationship dynamics, maybe some old wounds, emotional cycles that needed closure. I know for my Aries and Libras, you may have felt that the strongest. So did Cancers and Capricorns, especially around the areas of boundaries and your self-value. Then we also had Mars that was in Cancer, which is now back in Leo, different type of energy. But at the time that it was in Cancer, it was pushing a lot of us into an emotional survival mode. We were being challenged a lot with our emotions, with our feelings. So instead of us lashing out, we were encouraged to turn inward. Us water signs and cardinal signs probably held a lot of heaviness around this the most. I know for me, going through those retrogrades with, oh boy, with Mars and Cancer, it was quite the sludge and the emotional waters of everything that I had to endure. But I knew that everything that I was going through, so like I said, this first half of the year, if we get through it, by the time we get to June, we'll be like, woo, so glad I got through that. Now I'm ready for what's next. Because we're no longer the same versions of us that we were at the beginning of this year. And for most of us, at the beginning of this month. We just had a full moon on the 12th. And this was a Scorpio full moon. So you know anything in Scorpio is intense to begin with. So if you're anything like me, Soulmates, maybe you planted some seeds back in November during the Scorpio new moon. I always journal whenever there's a new moon and a full moon. And I actually was able to go back to see what seeds I planted. And once again, me and Spirit co-created everything into reality. The things that I said I was going to do and let go of at that time, I finally released. I finally let it go during this Scorpio full moon and cracked it open, wide open. It was almost like I was avoiding some things that I could no longer ignore. I feel you, Jack, exhausted. I've been tired too. The full moon energy definitely had me down and out for a few days. Not emotionally, just physically drained. So I'm right there with you, Jack. It is frustrating. It's frustrating, especially when you don't know what's coming next. And that's none of us do, right? And it's human nature to want to plan ahead, but you can't plan for the unknown. And one thing I've learned about spirit is I can't control what I can't see. All I got to do is just surrender. There have been lots of things taken out of my life. My foundation has been shaken up in so many ways, more than I could even imagine. In case you haven't noticed, Soulmates, I'm in a different resonance now. So that's how much my foundation has shaked open. But I'm grateful because it's gotten me to a different place in my life. And I'm finally feeling like my stability is being restored. So this full moon energy probably brought up a lot of maybe old pain and grief for you, Soulmates. Maybe it was some control patterns that you needed to let go of, or fears, because it pulled all of this up for all of us to finally just release and let go. Yes, Jack, I love you too. I'm glad you noticed that. And if you've been crying more than usual, soulmates, or if you just feel more edgy or emotions feel more raw, have patience, have grace with yourself, because it's okay. You are not unraveling. You are not broken. You're not losing your mind. You're just realigning, releasing, resetting. And it's real. Everything that we're feeling is real. You're not crazy. You're not bipolar. You're not depressed. You're going through the evolution process, which leads us into theme number 3 for the month of May. Feel all that you need to feel and listen. This is not the month to suppress our emotions. We can't outrun ourselves anymore, soulmates. If it's rising, if you feel it, it's time for it to be released. Thank you, Jack, for the donation. Some of us were taught to avoid any of that overwhelm. So stay strong, hold it in, just stay compressed no matter what. But strength is not about suppression. Strength is about surrender. It's about letting your heart break open long enough for the light to get in. So if you are grieving and if you have grief that is coming up, let it. Honor the tears that may flow. And if you need to wrap your arms around yourself and sit in silence, do that too. Put the phone down, turn the noise off, let your spirit speak. Dance, cry, journal, scream, shake it out, get in your car, drive, do whatever you need to do to help regulate and reset yourself. Because when you feel it fully, that's when you get to free yourself. That's when you get to create space to breathe again. And I know it's not easy to feel. Trust me, I know how challenged it is to deal with your emotions. Trust me, as somebody who had to battle the hard way with my emotions. But when I realized that if I would stop trying to battle and fight against my emotions and allow myself to feel it, it's not so bad. I had to stop trying to numb my emotions. Stop trying to avoid myself. So if you're feeling like your nervous system is just trying to survive, and if it feels like the pain is just too much to sit with, allow yourself grace and pause and be kind to yourself. Because the energy right now is basically asking all of us to heal, not to bypass any emotions, but to witness the emotions. Stop pretending like we're so strong, because we're not. We're human beings. And actually meet what's been living inside of you. How many of us are going around, walking around and living with unresolved trauma and grief for years, for decades? Well, guess what, soulmates? We don't have to continue living like that. Now is the time to release it. And if you're somebody like me who feels everything, you feel the heartbreak, you feel joy, you can feel the tension in the room, please know it's not a flaw. That is your superpower. Your sensitivity is your strength. And the fact that you have those empathetic feelings, that you can feel energy that strong, well, guess what, soulmates? Welcome to the Great Awakening, because that's what it feels like when you have evolved energetically and you can feel other people's energy. And I know how overwhelming that can be. It is extremely overwhelming, which is why it's so important that we protect our energies. Because once you get to a certain level, soulmates, you have to be very intentional about whose energy you allow around you. Because certain people will drain your energy. Even if they don't intend on trying to. After you've evolved to a certain level, it gets lonely at the top. And if certain people aren't elevating at that same vibration, then it becomes out of balance. So it's so important that we are very energetically aware of who we have around us. Because oftentimes we can pick up on other people's emotions that will throw our nervous system out of whack. So if there's some pain that's rising and you don't know how to hold it all, please have patience with yourself. You're going through the transformation, the shedding of an old skin, a shedding of an old you. And you don't have to do it by yourself. I hold space for people that do this. I help people move through these emotional overwhelms without bypassing. We can't spiritually bypass anything or break down. We don't have to break ourselves to embrace ourselves. Learn how to go through this without feeling shameful for the intensity of what you're feeling. You don't have to stuff it down. You don't have to fake. You don't have to hide. And you definitely don't have to apologize for being who you are. If you have feelings and you're finally ready to heal, be proud of that. Don't need to numb it. That's a gift because at least you're very self-aware enough to know that. Hey, T Nat, it's good to see you. Hello. Yes, Jack. Energy vampires. Thank you, Dr. JG. Someone today on another live just said that Albus Morset has a documentary about being a highly sensitive person. You know what's so funny, Jacqueline, is that I studied highly sensitive people about 6-7 years ago. Alanis Morissette, okay. And at that time, this was before my suicide attempt, but I was doing my research because I knew for me something felt, I don't know, I just couldn't understand why I felt my emotions so harsh. And I don't know what led me to find highly sensitive persons, but when I found that, I was quite impressed and it made so much sense because there are people that are highly sensitive. And then the world has made us seem like we were maybe weak, crybabies, soft, but they don't know that we are the leaders. We're the change makers. We're the trendsetters because people that can hold space for emotions and other people's emotions, do you know how powerful that is? So there's no need to hide and run from that. That's actually the power. That's where the power lies. In emotional stability, emotional intelligence. So being a highly sensitive person, it can be overwhelming if you don't have the right energies around. But learning how to hold space for others without absorbing their energy is also key to being a highly sensitive person. And theme number 4 for May is losing your voice to find your new voice. And soulmates, you know, this one is personal. This one hits home for me. And some of you, because some of you are probably in spaces right now where you've been quiet for too long. You've just been holding it in, biting your tongue, saying something that you know you've been wanting to say. And it's not because you don't have anything to say, but because somewhere along the way, you just stopped feeling safe enough to say it. Maybe it's in a relationship. Maybe it's at work. Or maybe it's a version of yourself that no longer fits. But whatever it is, you've been shrinking too long to avoid conflict. What are you afraid of? Swallowing your truth to keep things calm? But how does it make you feel? Silencing yourself just to stay accepted? But silence can only hold so much before it starts to weigh you down. Where does it go? Just because you keep it in doesn't mean the energy is gone. It doesn't mean the feelings have left. You're just trying to push it down. That's how you create disease. Allow yourself to speak your truth. This month is bringing that up for us. May is asking us, where have you made yourself small just so you can be included? Because the more you disconnect from your voice, is the more you disconnect from your power. And no, I'm not saying that you have to yell. You don't have to argue. And you don't have to become someone else to speak. All you need to do is just be honest. Be honest about how you feel. Speak from your heart. Even if your voice shakes and even if it's uncomfortable, say it. Say it with pride. Say it with conviction. Say what's been sitting on your chest for too long. Allow that energy to release. Free that up. Say what you need to say. Say what you've outgrown. Say it for yourself, even if you don't say it to anybody else. Because the truth is, your voice is never lost. For most of us, it's just been buried underneath fear, a mask, costume, pretending to be somebody else, old ways of surviving. I understand. But it's still there. And May is asking you to come back online with it. So if that's you right now, and if you're in a season where you're reclaiming your voice, or you're trying to figure out how to say what needs to be said without abandoning yourself, I understand. I hold space for you. Because I get that it's not often easy being able to say certain things to certain people. But you have the right to speak your truth. And not just on what you want to say, but how you say it. Say it from a place that's rooted in truth, not reaction, not speaking from a place of emotion, from a grounded place of power, from an aligned place. If something's been rising in your throat, yes, throat chakra energy opening up this month. That means it's time for you to finally release it. If you got a tickle in your throat, soulmates, pay attention. And if you're struggling with being able to have these conversations, I can work through this with you. Allow us to release it together. Because you don't owe anyone your silence, but you absolutely owe yourself your voice. I sometimes get back pain if I am not being real, Jack. Your body will keep the score. Remember months ago, I kept telling you my left shoulder was hurting? Well, that's exactly why. There was an imbalance in a relationship that I was in, and all of my energy on this side was hurting. And every time I would have conversation with this person, the pain kept coming back. But the minute I release that person, that energy, it just disappears. So that's the other reason why we can no longer hold it in. Our health is on the line, soulmates. Us holding back our truth is not going to help us. In fact, it's going to harm us the most. The body does keep it real. And speaking of being able to speak your truth because you owe yourself your voice, theme number 5 for this month is trickster energy. But pay attention to this one, soulmates. Because yes, there is trickster energy in the air right now. I think we already knew that. But I don't know if we realize that it doesn't always show up wearing the mask. Because see, sometimes this trickster energy, it can show up as a sense of urgency. Maybe somebody is making you rush to make a decision. Or maybe it's somebody trying to fast talk you. Maybe they're making promises to you, or maybe they're pressuring you. But if it feels off, it is. Pay attention to your body. If your gut tightens up, or if your chest gets heavy, listen to that. Because see, something in the milk ain't clean. And not every door that opens is meant for you, soulmates. Not every ask is in alignment with your path. Not every yes is genuine and sincere. So this month, discernment is key. Discernment is our protection. And like Jack just said, the body keeps it real. The body won't lie. If you listen and pay attention to their body, soulmates, certain people can come around you and your body will tell you. It will instantly reject them. Hola, Bella. Allow yourself to listen to that. Don't doubt your intuition. Don't doubt what you know to be true. Jacqueline said, I had a nodule on my thyroid for about 7 years or so. And then after a really stressful period, it turned cancerous. I had surgery to remove half of it, and I believe it was a lesson for me to use my voice and speak for myself. Wow, Jacqueline, I'm glad that everything is okay. Thank you for sharing that. And you're absolutely right. See, we don't believe that to be true. If you don't allow yourself to release that energy, absolutely you will end up with some physical reaction, some physical ailment, because we have to allow ourselves to release that energy. And I think as a collective, we were not educated or that privy on the energetics and what happens when we don't allow ourselves to feel our emotions and to allow our feelings to come up. We lived in a society that didn't even allow us to have feelings, yet alone to even understand the effects of what not allowing your feelings will do for you. So I'm grateful that you are okay now. And thank you for sharing that. But this trickster energy right now, it's here not to harm us, but sometimes it shows us what needs to be changed, what's not real and what's fake. So it's exposing us to the trickster energies that we may have been around. Maybe there was a trickster energy that you may have bought into. But this is the opportunity to now to see what was true and for that veil to be removed from our eyes, to see that some things that we were told or may have been promised, we were misled on. So this energy right now is giving us the opportunity to shake loose anything that we've outgrown and to test how well we actually trust ourselves. So just take a deep breath. And please know you don't have to respond to everything right away. Sometimes people and things and circumstances and spirit tests us to see how do we react under pressure? How do we react when we're fearful? Allow yourself to just sit and feel and understand and process before you react, before you judge, before you rush. And if something or someone keeps pushing at you, that's your answer. Allow this energy to teach you, but don't allow it to trap you. Don't abandon your clarity just to avoid conflict. And don't ignore your intuition just to be polite. Because who are you doing the most harm and disservice to, soulmates? Yourself, by not being honest. And if you're someone who's struggling with second guessing yourself, and if you say yes when you know the answer is no too many times, then I probably am talking to you because you're tired of ignoring your inner voice. It's a time for you to let go of that, to keep the peace for whom? This might be the moment that it's time for you to shift that. Because it's no longer just about protecting peace. This is about protecting your sanity, reclaiming your discernment, your power. It's to stop outsourcing your yes. Everything doesn't require a yes. And return to trusting the wisdom of your own body, your own inner knowing. And if you're ready to stop doubting what your spirit already knows, then let's find out what that looks like for you. Because sometimes wisdom doesn't shout, it just whispers silently by just saying no. But our job is to listen. Theme number 6 for May is gold of the heart. Heart energy is rising again after all of the retrogrades. Thank God. Because let me say something, soulmates. When Venus is in retrograde, I know the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies was going through a recalibration period. And I know for me, I was. I was in a way that I needed to. I needed to balance out the divine masculine within me because I had not been able to balance it out. At one point, I had become so codependent that I didn't know how to do anything for myself. I lost that action and the doing because I had to figure it out. And now that the energy is back normal again, I'm back into my heart space. It was like I had to do some realigning to get back into my heart space. A quantum jump, Bella. Absolutely. That's exactly what it was. So heart energy is on the rise. And it's so beautiful. I'm so grateful that the heart energy is back on the rise because we need it. We need more love. We need that sacred energy. But at the same time, it can be kind of sensitive because this month is not asking us to push through anything. It is asking us to open up, though. And it's asking us to slow down and to finally feel again, to reconnect with the part of you that still knows how to love fully. Even after everything we've lost, soulmates, let yourself experience the beauty again of love, of connection, gratitude, softness, stillness. That's where your heart speaks the loudest. And I also want to remind you of something that my spirit guide said to me. The heart is a magnet when it's full. See, we attract love, we attract abundance, we attract it. So fill your heart with it. Fill your heart with what nourishes you, with the people that see you, with the moments that remind you that life can still feel good, even when it doesn't make sense, even in the here and the now, in the unknowing. And if you've been moving too fast to feel anything, and if the noise has just gotten way too loud, louder than your own heartbeat, then soulmates, it's time for you to pause. It's time to pause. I'm not trying to fix your heart. Your heart doesn't need fixing, but you just got to learn how to trust it again. So for some of us, maybe you've been feeling numb or guarded. Maybe you're just trying to hold it all together because you've gone through a period of loss or grief. I see you, soulmates, and I'm proud of you. Please know I understand how risky it is to be vulnerable and how hard it can be to open up and reconnect. I understand. I hope you figure out how to regulate this survival mode, this feeling of I either have to be one or the other. I either have to be super hard or soft, but how do I find that happy medium, the balance of both without losing myself, without losing my strength? How do you let love back in without the fear of swallowing it whole? Because see, one thing I know for sure, soulmates, is that when your heart is full and open, you stop chasing what was never meant for you. You stop chasing at all, completely, because you don't have to chase. We just attract. We just attract what always was. I'm missing the comments. What did you just say, Jack? Yep, set it straight. Bella, becoming. Absolutely. Becoming. Some people will prey on your silence, Jack, because they just know that, oh, you've always been silent, so you're never going to say anything. So imagine you actually shocking them when you speak your truth. Not only will they be shocked, but then they will know the truth. And the one thing about the truth, you can't unhear it. You can't unsee it. Once the truth is out there, there's no taking it back. So that's why it's so important to be mindful of how we deliver our messages. But by all means, soulmates, speak your truth. But make sure you're speaking it from a grounded, loving space and not a space of fear or anger or out of your ego. So the next theme of the month is lifelong healing breakthroughs. We're midway through this month. And if it's been anything like it has been for me, for you soulmates, then you probably have been feeling maybe the healing process starting to get easier now. Maybe whatever it was that needed to be healed and grieved 6 months ago is finally coming to a close. You're finally able to move forward. Because some of the pain that we've been carrying didn't just start. For many of us, we have trauma that we've been holding on to for decades. Maybe it was trauma in how we love. Maybe it was in how we shut down, how we connected with other people, how we trusted people. even in trauma and how we build money, our relationship with money, with our emotions, with people. See, May is the month of breakthroughs to the parts of you that have been holding it on for too long. What are we holding on to? What are we holding on to that we need to let go of? Are we really happy holding on to this energy? How has it served you, soulmates? These are the type of questions that May is asking us. See, this is the kind of healing that is not waiting on any permission. It doesn't ask. It just shows up. Spirit says that it's time to heal, soulmates. You can't outrun it. Now is the time. The time is now. And it's going to show up in waves because we have planets that are getting ready to move soon. Outer planets that don't move too often are getting ready to move, which means collectively, personally, we're going to experience some major shifts. So this is the opportunity now to close these things up, to finally resolve these things. We're going to have a great summer, soulmates, if we get through this last leg of the spring. If we allow ourselves to feel these emotions, to allow what doesn't feel like freedom at first to finally feel free and liberating. I'm a fixed sign. I know how difficult it can be to accept change, to let go of what you thought things were supposed to be like, or a way of living or a lifestyle. But sometimes what starts as a breakdown is actually a breakthrough. So if it's an emotional flood that you're having, maybe your emotions are just overwhelmed because so much that has happened. I send you so much love and light in the whole space with you, soulmates, because you're not in this alone. Maybe you have some memories that have caught you off guard lately. The contraction right before the release. And just because it feels heavy doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. That just means, oh, it was deep. That just means that something old was finally being released, and I'm proud of you. You did it. Or if not, let's release it. Because see, this is the final layer of a wound that you've outgrown. This is grief making space for new capacity, for new love, for new joy. This is your spirit saying, I don't need to carry this anymore. Why? When I have so much love to give and receive and a life full of abundance. I'm tired of carrying this grief. I'm tired of carrying this negative energy. I'm tired of holding on to this anger for this person. I'm tired of holding on to the anger for these things, from losing these things, from the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. It's not serving us because we can't undo what's already been done. So don't run from it. Just let it rise. Let it move you and let it teach you. Because you are not the version of you who first experienced that pain. And that's what I know about pain, is that if you sit through it, you will never be the same that you were in the beginning. Because when you grow through it and you get out on the other side, you will never look at it again. Because see, you live too much. You've grown too much, though, Mason. You stretch too far to keep holding in that same energy, to keep holding it the same way. We deserve more than that. So if you're in that space right now where everything feels tender and everything feels loud, and you're wondering why it's all coming up once, this is why. Because spirit doesn't just want you to survive anymore, soulmates. It wants you to be free. It wants you to be liberated. And I know that kind of healing can feel like a lot. Trust me. It gets lonely. It can get lonely. Because sometimes when you're going through these wounds and they can get deep, you don't know how to get out of it. You don't know how to figure your way out. But there is a way out. And you don't have to do it alone. But allow yourself patience. You don't have to rush into anything. You don't even have to have all the answers, soulmates. But one thing I know is that you are allowed to honor what no longer fits. Even if you can admit that. Even if you know what no longer fits. That's a step. Because that's the first step to making the transformation that you truly deserve. And you are most definitely allowed to rise, soulmates, into who you're becoming. We are becoming something that we have never seen. And I know, soulmates, I can never go back to an old version of me. So this me today and who I'm going to be next month and at the end of the year, I'm grateful to see that version of Keana because I've never seen her before. And I know she's already 10 steps ahead of this version of me because everything that I'm already doing has already been done. The future me is already there. I just need to catch up with her. And so do you, soulmates. The healed version of you, the version of you that's no longer tired, the version of you that's gone through the turmoil, that's gone through the healing, they're just waiting on you to get there. Good seeing you, Nats. So if you're looking for space to go deeper, soulmates, to reflect, to rise, and to remember who you are, I have created space for you. I have some spaces left. I've been working with clients and I have space left for those that are looking for more one-on-one support. Or you can order my book, Healing Out Loud, which is available on Amazon. It's for people like us that are ready to heal, ready to let go of the trauma and the pain from the past, ready to choose to live, to turn our pain into our purpose, choosing to come home to ourselves. And for those that don't know, I do have a podcast now on my YouTube channel called Make It Make Sense with my co-host Gus. And we talk about truth, healing, a little humor, but things that people don't often want to talk about. We talk about it. So we are making it make sense, soulmates. You know, I'm here to speak truth. What did you just say, Jack? Do you know Keana? Keana, she's so good. I don't know Keana with the Q. Is there a Keana on here with the Q? Jack, you are hilarious. Who else do I have in here? You're funny. Hey, soulmates that just joined. I see. I don't understand this new format. And thank you to those that have donated. This new format is interesting. I'm trying to see who I have in here. I'm not looking at the same people. I see Sue, Jess, Mayno, Karen, Suzanne, Ellen, Rose, Sandy, Mel, James, Chris, Sadie. Hey, Melissa. Why do I have a charge in my hand? It's good to see you, beautiful. Jennifer, Lotus. Hey, Melinda, Annie, S. And I don't know who else I have. But if I didn't say your name, it's good to see you, soulmates. Any questions? Any comments? Bella was on fire tonight. I miss Bella. What did she say? I can't see everything anymore. This new format is interesting. It's like if I miss the comments, they're gone forever. I don't see them anymore. So, soulmates, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can catch the podcast, as well as my replays for my lives, because I'm actually going live on YouTube right now. So you'll be able to catch this session on my YouTube channel if you were not able to catch it from the beginning. And I also drop weekly guidance on my YouTube channel, spiritual wisdom with some real life application in it because I'm helping us heal in real time. So subscribe, soulmates, if you are vibing with the energy, with what it is that I share, then please do subscribe and take a look at my channel. And as always, soulmates, if you're ready to go deeper, to walk through these transitions with support, to rebuild your voice, your vision, and your peace, please know I do offer one-on-one support. No pressure, just an invitation. Because I'm not here to sell you on healing, not by any means. But I'm here to just remind you that you do deserve it. So if you're not following me outside of here, as well as on Inside Timer, make sure you hit the follow. Where is the follow on Inside Timer now? Oh, it's at the top right. Top right. Just hit my picture. And you can also follow me outside of Inside Timer on Instagram at I am Keana Shatteen, as well as Facebook and TikTok. And stay tuned, soulmates. Who needs new glasses, Jack? I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you. Thank you, soulmates. And thank you to my soulmates that joined me on YouTube. As always, soulmates, if you want to reach out privately, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, stay tuned. I will probably be back next week. I'm going to try to schedule weekly lives, depending on the way my schedule goes. So make sure you are following me so that you can receive the notification of my next live. So I appreciate you, soulmates, for joining in. Otherwise, I will bid you adieu, soulmates. Thank you, Jack, and I will talk with you again soon. Bye, soulmates. Namaste.